What's up, everybody? My name is Traemani Hawkins, and I am a hip-hop artist from Raleigh, North Carolina. And today I'm going to be teaching you the basics of how the piano works so that you can start making your own songs at home. So, if you're just getting started making music, it can really help to understand the piano and understand how it works, because if you know how the piano works, then you can make any song really that you want. Like, it gives you all the tools you need to be able to start making your own music. So, if we get started, first, it might look like a lot of keys here. This isn't even a full piano, but it might look like a lot of keys. But really, the only thing you really need to know is 7 keys. So I always start at C because C is the most noticeable. It's right next to the two black keys. So you got C. You just go up the alphabet. C, D, E, F, G. And then at G you go back to A, B, C. So, that's all the keys on the piano, really, that you need to know. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's it. And all the rest of the keys are just that, except on the next octave. So, an octave is basically going up the whole range of the 7 notes up another octave. So, if you see these notes are in the same position, according to the black keys and stuff. So these have actually the same note. They're both C. So all this is just an octave up from here. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And you can keep going. D, E, F, G. And then you can go the other way too. B, A, G, F, E, D, C. You keep going like that. So that's octaves. So if you push any 2 notes that are in the same configuration within those 7 notes, then they're the same note. F, G's, A's, C's. So you got octaves right there. Next up is the black keys. The black keys are sharps and flats. So they don't really have their own names, but they go off of the key right before it. So I use sharps. I don't use flats. But so you got C right here. So this black key would be C sharp. That's C sharp. You got D right here. This black key is D sharp. And then so on. E doesn't have a sharp, but F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and then B doesn't have a sharp either. So that's what those are. That's what the black keys are. So just the same thing with the octaves. The same black keys are the same note. Alright. Now, I need to explain the difference between a whole step and a half step. So, a whole step is, if you think about it like this, a whole step is just skipping some keys, skipping 1 key. So if you were just going up the piano key by key, then a whole step is skipping 1 note. So if you start at C, you skip the sharp, and you hit D. That's a whole step, because you're skipping a note. Over here, skipping a note would be from E to F sharp, because you're skipping this note. So you just skip 1 note on the piano, and that's a whole step. Now, half step, as you might guess, is not skipping that note. So that's a half step, half step, half step. This is also a half step, going to the next note. So you got the whole steps, just skipping a note, and you got the half steps, which is not skipping a note. So the reason you need to know that is because that will help us with scales and keys. So you hear a lot of times when people ask, like, what's the key of the song, right? What key is the song in? What they're really asking is, what scale is the song using as the basis for the song? So a scale, as you've probably heard if you ever took any music class or anything, sounds like this. All a scale is a group of notes that sound good together. So what I just played was a C major scale. Now, if you had a song that was based on the C major scale, that song would be in the key of C major. So someone asks you, what key is that? It would be C major. And what the key tells you and the scale tells you is those are the notes that you can use in that song, and they'll always sound good most of the time. I know he's always most of the time, but they'll sound good together. So there's two different types of scales. There's a major scale. Well, there's more than two different types of scales, but the two main ones, major scale, which I just played, and minor scale. That's the minor scale, so you can hear the difference. It's major. That's minor. So minor usually sounds sadder, and major sounds happier. That's like the easy way to remember it. So in order to start making your own songs, all you need to do is find out how to find a key, or how to find a scale, basically. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and we do that by using the whole steps and the half steps that we just talked about, we just learned. So a really easy way to remember major scales, there's different ways to do it, but there's like whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So that's one way to do it. I don't do it that way. I think that's a little bit confusing to think of. So this is how I do it. I go 1, 2, 3, half, 1, 2, 3, half. So I start with 1 on the first note. 1, 2, that's a whole step. 3, and I say half, which is a half step. Half, 1, 2, 3, half. And that's for any major scale on any key that you want. So say you like, oh, I want to do a G major scale, right? So okay, you start with G. G's right there. So you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, half, 1, 2, 3, half. That's the G major scale. That easy. So you can do it. You can even do it on one of the flat or one of the sharps. Sharps are flat. So say I want D sharp major. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, half, 1, 2, 3, half. 1, 2, 3, half, 1, 2, 3, half. And that's it. That's how you find any major scale. So minor scales, which most songs are actually minor scales. A minor scale is 1, 2, half, 1, 2, half, 1, 2. So C minor, 1, 2, half, 1, 2, half, 1, 2. 1, 2, half, 1, 2, half, 1, 2. And again, you can do that for anything. So G, let's do G minor scale. 1, 2, half, 1, 2, half, 1, 2. That's G minor. And then let's do D sharp minor. 1, 2, half, 1, 2, half, 1, 2. So 1, 2, half, 1, 2, half, 1, 2. So that's an easy way to remember your scales and your keys, or to find them. So with that, if you're trying to make your own song, you know, or if you want to find out a key of some other song, or like you started playing something, you want to figure out what key it is so you can keep adding on to it, all you gotta do is find the scale, and then you know which notes that you are allowed to use basically in that. So there are some exceptions to that rule. I'm not going to go over those in this video, but that is the main basis. So with that, you can use, you know, any of those notes. So the last thing we're going to go over is chords. So all a chord is a group of notes within a scale that all sound good together. And there's an easy way to make those too. So let's say we have the C major scale, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, half, 1, 2, 3, half. C major scale. So a chord sounds like this. So all a chord, to make a chord, all you're doing is you're taking like whatever you want the bass note to be. So let's just say C. And then within the scale, you're skipping the next note of the scale and going to the one after that. So you're skipping one note, and you're playing those two, and then you just skip another note, and that makes a triad chord, which is 3 notes in a chord. And you can do that with any note in the scale. So you want this note, you want to make a chord with this note, skip, skip. There's a chord. So, and you can keep going with this up the scale. You don't have to stop at 3, so you can go. And you can even go one more. After a certain point, it starts sounding, you know, bad. But, yeah, so basically, that's it. That's all I need to find a chord. So, say, you know, I have a minor scale, a G minor. Say I want a chord in those, I just gotta remember what notes they were. And say, okay, I want this. I want to start with the bass note. And I'm gonna skip one. Here, skip one. And that's a chord. So, that's how you can use chords and the scale and the key all together to start making your own songs. So, you know, you can make a chord progression, say I'm in C, and you just have like, you know, something like that. Yeah, so, you know, you can use your chords and you can use the notes, and it'll help you all stay in key and sound pretty good. So, yeah. Once again, my name is Traemani Hawkins, and thank you for joining my video.